That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks, to a Notre Dame comes out of the bye, gets back into action at home against a very beatable Stanford team. What will Notre Dame do? Edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, thanks for being here. You can find the program on YouTube. Do it, subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps John out as well. Notifications on that way you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want it, you can get it. If you don't want to see my face, I'm sick of it too. How do you think I feel? Call in lines 312-900-8815. Dialed up. Tell Uncle Johnny all you've heard and seen. Notre Dame Fighting Irish brought to you by Sports Illustrated. Read all about it. We got something for you every day. Patreon.com/Always Irish. The former captain, the leading tackler, Mike Goolsby, and myself breaking it all down. Thanks to everybody that's joined us over there. We got Jared Clark in the mix. We had Nick Shepkowski from Sports Illustrated over there on the live stream this week. We're having a good time. Thanks to everybody that's joined us there. All right. Welcome in. Welcome back. Notre Dame football is back in action. I feel like, maybe you disagree, I needed the break. And I know Notre Dame needed the break. Notre Dame was beat up. Notre Dame had injuries. Notre Dame was just kind of dragging. Really, really well-timed break for Notre Dame. I think health-wise, mentality-wise, just kind of finding being able to call time out and take a breath of and think about where we're at and where we need to be and how we're going to get there coming out of the bye, like a really well-timed break. The opposite of last year, right? When you went 8 straight weeks without one and it was a bad time to everything. This is different. This is in your favor the way this one's spaced out. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? So Notre Dame needed the break, and now I think the fan base and everybody, we're getting to where it's like, okay, I'm ready for some football again. And it's just so interesting how things have changed. Maybe you disagree, but I feel like since that handful of losses last week and Notre Dame shooting up the rankings back into playoff position without playing a game, it's a gift. And it does feel like re-energized, like created a new spark or added fuel to the fire or whatever. Like, I just feel like you're getting like a different energy now. It's like, oh, Northern Illinois didn't ruin the whole year. We're right back in it. And like, there's a renewed sense of excitement of feeling like we're in the mix. And I feel like if you're going to lose to Northern Illinois week 2 at home, man, just to be in this position to where you're back in playoff position, and if you win out against a string of teams you're better than, it's about as good of a spot as you could be, considering the disaster that was Northern Illinois. You're right back in playoff position, and you're playing a string of teams you should beat. Notre Dame should be favored in all of these games. Yeah, Navy's going to be tricky. Army's going to be tricky. The way there have been good years or whatever. USC, you know they have talent, and we don't ever play well when we go to the Coliseum to end the year. It's a tough place for Notre Dame to play. I don't know why. Maybe it's to travel. I know what it isn't is the loud, raucous crowd. It ain't exactly College Station going out there to that Coliseum dump, but we don't play good in it for whatever reason. Anyways, given the nightmare that was week 2, Notre Dame's sitting pretty, man. You're in a good position. It would be nice if you felt like the team felt like that. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like if the team came out and was real fired up right out of the gate against Stanford or whatever, like you would feel like, man, I like this. I'm seeing that this team's feeling that energy the fan base felt of like, man, we're not out of this. Look at where we're at right now. Like, and I know the team itself can't like hinge its emotions and get high or low depending on the rankings or whatever. I'm just saying, man, I really hope they come out fired up and ready to go. Like, Notre Dame got a great gift with everything that happened last week. You got to take advantage of this. This is an important 7-game stretch for Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman. Hey, Marcus Freeman, what's going on? Marcus Freeman, his tenure, this Notre Dame team. Man, there's a lot hinging on this. There is a lot hinging on this record in these remaining 7 games. 7 unique challenges, 7 games Notre Dame should win. And I understand you have injury concerns. Even when I account for the injury concerns, I think Notre Dame should be able to win these games. And I just do. Each of them present unique challenges and unique stuff you're going to have to prepare for. You should still win these games. It's going to be stressful, but you should still win them. So the best thing for this moment is Notre Dame to come out fired up. That would be the number one thing that would get everybody feeling better about all this is a fired up Notre Dame team starting this game against Stanford at home. Could you get a 10-0, a 10-point lead in the first quarter or something? Build yourself a little space. Start out good at home, which would be new after the break. You know, we're a new team. Come out starting out good at home. Jump on these guys 13-3, 13-0. Get up to where you're starting out good. That would really, I think, jump start the second half in a good way. And listen, this Stanford team's they're not that good. They're not good at football. They're just not that great. Although they weren't 2 years ago and they came in your house and beat you. And Northern Illinois is not great at football and they beat you. So that is the problem I have doing this. Like, that's the issue. That's the issue I'm having all year after Northern is this should be this should be that. You should beat this team, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, all that applied to Northern too, and you didn't. And so that's the issue. There's a trust issue. There's a trust issue. And the best thing this team could do to help people feel better about it is start this game good. Start off this game well. It's not too much to ask. It really isn't. It really isn't too much to ask. Start this game off well. You could do it. So that's what I want to see. A focused and energized Notre Dame team coming out of the bye. Usually coming out of the bye, I always ask, you're out of your routine, the week-to-week grind. You're out of that. Are you going to start off slow? Are you going to start off, lazily? Or are you going to be engaged and fully ready to go? That's what, that's what you ask coming out of a bye. And so maybe you got a little healthier. We have a ton of devastating injuries. I don't know how many of them the 2 weeks are going to help guys get back or not, whatever. But this break allows you time to recenter your brain and recalibrate and get ready for this. Can't get enough unfiltered Notre Dame football talk? Be sure to go over to patreon.com/alwaysirish. Former captain Mike Goolsby and myself. Do that. Screw it.
Oh, we never won anything. It's been 30 years.
You are right in prime playoff position. You just got to keep winning. Clemson beats Stanford 40-14. By the way, Clemson really turning it on since that week 1 blowout against Georgia. Looked pretty good since. Virginia Tech. Okay, you're like, okay, but Clemson, I know they're pretty good. Whatever, blah, blah. How good's Virginia Tech? And they beat this team 31-7. So those are their last two games. 40-14 Clemson and 31-7 Virginia Tech is rough, is it not? That's just a rough run, bro. Are you paying attention to the quarterback situation, the quarterback health? If the guy they want's banged up and they got to do something else, how that helps Notre Dame. So they got quarterback health problems, and that plays into it. I mean, Notre Dame's favored by what? Depending on where you look, what? I saw 18 points. I saw 20-something points. Like, I don't know, man. There you go. Notre Dame at home is a big favorite again. Yikes. Notre Dame at home is a big favorite. Yikes. But, man, I look at those last couple games. 40-14, brutal. 31-7, brutal. Here, now check this out, too. This gets interesting. Stanford's run defense, 12th in the country, allowing 88 yards a game. 12th in the country, 88 yards a game. Their passing defense, 122nd. There's only 130 or 132 teams in Division I or whatever, 122nd. So now you got an interesting scenario. Notre Dame's not a good passing team. Stanford's biggest weakness is their pass defense. Literally 122nd is garbage. Their run defense is very stout. So how does Notre Dame play this? That's what I've been thinking about. When you look at these matchups and those numbers, how does Notre Dame try and play this? Does Notre Dame try and run the ball anyways? Into Stanford's strength, try and run the ball anyways? Because that's what we're comfortable doing, trying to do? Or does Notre Dame staff, look at that, 122nd ranked pass defense, sit there over the bye week and work on a bunch of passing stuff, hope that O-line holds it together and they start to all gel together better after the break and more time together? And does Notre Dame look at this as an opportunity to try and get right through the air and start off the first of these 7 remaining games through the air and be able to move the ball and really be like, feel better about where that's all at? Does Notre Dame test early and say, okay, they're the 12th ranked run defense. We're going to start out trying to run and see if we can run on that. And if not, we're going to have to open it up. It's just a really interesting cat and mouse chess game when it's that stark of a difference. Their pass defense is 122nd, but Notre Dame struggles to pass. Their run defense is really good, and Notre Dame's going to want to run. How do you do it? What do you try and do? It's going to be really, really interesting, and you add that extra week. And the word on the streets is, oh, I heard Notre Dame was practicing the passing game and some option stuff, getting ready to defend the option coming up down the road here. But I heard Notre Dame's practicing the passing game over the break or whatever. Well, then let's see it. You're back at home. They're bad at this. You're a big favorite. Go win some battles, man. Create some confidence in this offense and these receivers and get them engaged. Get them down the field. Like, if you should be able to do it against anybody, it's the 122nd ranked pass defense in the country, right? So I want to see philosophically how Notre Dame tries to approach this offensively. Are you going to try and run into their strength and figure we're Notre Dame, we should be able to do it anyways? Or are you going right at their weakness and you're going to try and throw the ball around knowing that you're going to need to, and I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And then you flip it over to Notre Dame's defense. These guys scored 14 on Clemson, 7 on Virginia Tech. Like, even with the injuries and the youth on defense, you think Notre Dame's going to put in a winning effort. So I don't know, you guys. This is going to be interesting. But the number one thing I'm looking for is, what's Notre Dame's energy like coming out of this bye and then being at home again in one of these situations? Is this literally going to be, again, sleepy old Notre Dame? Here we go again. Another home game with no energy. Why is it like that? I don't understand. I don't like it. Or are you going to feel when Notre Dame takes the field like, wow, This is a different energy. We haven't seen this energy since Texas A&M. This is an energy of a team that feels revitalized, re-energized after the break and seeing all those teams lose it. Now you're back in playoff position, feeling better about themselves with a pep in their step, ready to go prove something. So before we even get to this, what the offensive philosophy by the Irish is going to be or whatever, before we even get to that, I'm looking at how this team comes out, man. Sleepy after the bye, disinterested, half asleep, whatever, or are you ready to go? Man, it would be good if it was like clean slate after the break. Notre Dame's ready to go. High energy, get ahead of Stanford early, blow them the hell out. Now you're cooking. Then you go into a neutral site situation at Georgia Tech. You try and get that win. And then you have a totally unique setup against Navy. And they're playing good this year. And the uniqueness of that challenge. Like, Notre Dame's just got to scratch and claw. One win after the next, 7 in a row. I don't care how pretty they are anymore. I'm not worried about that. Whatever it's going to take to get 7 more wins is what this team has to do. Whether it's pretty, whether it's ugly, whatever it looks like, that's what you got to do. So Notre Dame has been gifted a second lease on life here. And it's almost like a clean slate starting out. And you just need to keep winning these games. And we already learned other teams are going to lose. And you never think it's going to happen. You look at this slate and go, oh, a bunch of boring games this week. Not much is going to change. It's going to be a chalky week in college football. And then a bunch of goofy stuff happens and teams lose. Notre Dame's got a great opportunity here. It's up to them to take advantage. Come ready to play and blow these guys out, man. I want to see this offensive philosophy. I want to see what they try and do. Do you try and run it into their strength, or do you try and go right at their weakness and start to build that on your end by throwing the ball? Let's see what we get. Big win by Notre Dame. I haven't picked the game yet. I'm going to have Notre Dame winning by double digits. It's just a matter of where that score is going to fall. But I got Notre Dame by double digits. You need it, and you got to have it, and I think they're going to get it. What do you guys think? Don't forget to check out the merchandise. The link is in the description. You can browse and carouse all the different Always Irish gear. Make sure you head over there and get something for the next tailgate. Thanks for being here.